A very pleasant good morning to all those who have joined us today, our esteemed dignitaries and our honored participants. It's with immense joy that I welcome you all to the fourth day of St. Francis de Sales College's NAAC webinar. Without further ado, I would like to dive straight into today's first topic, Criterion 6, that is governance, leadership, management. As you all may know, from NAAC's point of view, this is one of the most important criteria today, one which can make or break a college's assessment. So it is with special excitement that I welcome Dr. A. Lourdusamy, our first speaker of the day. Dr. Lourdusamy is an associate professor of mathematics at Palayamkottai's renowned St. Xavier's College, and he is also the NAAC coordinator there. Having completed his BSc, MSc, MPhil in mathematics, he went on to complete his PhD in studies in graph theory, and today he has more than 32 years of teaching experience. He has also published more than 100 papers, both nationally and internationally, and is also a referee of many national journals. A well-known name in most NAAC circles, he has been a core committee member for the third cycle NAAC visit in 2012, prepared the assessor for his college accreditation in the fourth cycle, peer team coordinator for the NAAC peer team visit in 2009, and has been the IKC coordinator at his college since 2014, where his stellar efforts were instrumental in getting St. Xavier's College awarded with an A++ grade and a magnificent 3.66 CGPA during the fourth cycle. Furthermore, he is an expert member of NAAC assessor preparation and mock visit of the NAAC peer team for different colleges all over the country. He has also made his presence felt at international forums by presenting a paper at the Multidisciplinary International Conference in Dubai in the year 2019. A lifetime member of the Indian Science Congress Association and a treasured member of the American Mathematics Society, he is a highly respected PhD adjudicator, has conducted 6 PhD viva voce examinations, and as many as 16 students have completed their PhDs under his guidance. He has one major and 3 minor research projects to his name. He was a member of the Board of Studies for 3 different colleges. His contribution towards building a greater nation was recognized and lauded by the Government of Indian Ministry of Finance in the bronze category for 3 years in a row, from 2017 to 2020. It is thus with great honor and immeasurable pride that I, in hopes of imbibing at least some of his extensive knowledge, hand over today's proceedings in the more than able hands of Dr. A. Lourdusamy. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, madam, for introducing me to the participants of a 4-day online national workshop on intricacies of NAAC assessment for better scoring, organized by St. Francis de Sales College Seminary Hills, Nagpur. Respected Reverend Chairman, the Archbishop, respected Principal, respected officials, respected IKC Director of St. Francis de Sales College, Seminary Hills, Nagpur, and my dear participants, good morning to you one and all. Moderator, madam, am I audible? Moderator, madam?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
If there is anything to be informed me at any time, you can intervene and you can inform me, madam.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes here the broadband width is sometimes low. If there is some break in my voice, all that you can tell me so that I can switch over to other internet connectivity. I have got multiple internet connectivity. All that I will do.
Okay, sir. We'll do that.
Dear participants, today we have discussion on Criterion 6, governance, leadership and management. Rightly pointed out by the moderator, it is the important criterion in preparing the self-study report to be submitted to the NAAC. India has one of the largest and diverse educational systems in the world. So taking cognizance of the diversity, the higher educational institutions have been grouped into different categories such as universities, autonomous colleges, affiliated and constituent colleges. Of course, in the process of assessment, there are different components. You have to prepare self-study report. There will be student satisfaction survey together with data validation and verification process, and then peer team will visit and give the report. So the SSR has got 115 metrics for universities, 107 metrics for autonomous institutions, and 93 metrics for UG affiliated college, and 96 metrics for PG affiliated college. And in the SSR, in the first talk, Dr. Cecil Alfred already told you about quantitative metrics and qualitative metrics, all that you know. So these are the number of metrics distributed for different categories of institutions with regard to arts and science institutions. So coming to the first criterion, curricular aspects, for affiliated colleges, only 100 marks are given, whereas for autonomous and universities institutions, 150 marks are given. So going to the second criterion, less for university and a bit more for autonomous colleges, whereas for affiliated colleges, you get 350 marks. Then going to the third criterion, you have only 110 and 120 respectively for UG and PG institutions. For 4, for all categories the same. For 5, you have 140 for PG, 130 for UG affiliated colleges. For 6, all 100, and 7, all 100. So totaling 1000 marks, let's say. So of all these 7 criteria, according to me, if governance, leadership and management takes care of the proper procedure, then the responses which you have to prepare for all other criteria will follow easily. So the important thing, the important criterion we have, the 6th criterion, governance, leadership and management. We need a framework for education at all. Education has certain objectives or purposes to fulfill. So we have a framework for education, and education should focus on disciplinary knowledge and skills, generic skills, then attitudes and values, in order that there takes place an increase in learner competencies, there takes place an increase in confidence of the learners to face the competitive world. That's why IQSC has to focus on quality culture of the institution in terms of quality initiatives, quality sustenance activities, quality enhancement activities. So, coming to the sixth criterion, the first key indicator for both the autonomous and affiliated system of colleges will be institutional vision and leadership. So the first question is the governance of the institution is reflective of and in tune with the vision and mission of the institution. Of course, you can include motto also. Some institutions will have a motto separately. So here for this metric, you can spell out your vision, mission, motto, everything, how all these are aligned and how the governance is taking place in the institution. You can describe about the board of governors or the governing council or governing body, the composition of a governing body, and then this approves the strategic plan, vision, mission, and the budget based on the strategic plan. All that you can bring out here. Teaching learning process that is followed, and decision regarding new programs, infrastructure, placements, and for everything you have to have the passing of governing board or governing council or board of management, whatever it is. So with the composition you can explain, and then what do we do there? How do you transact the participation of staff members? All that you can describe here. Perspective plan you can give to create a conducive learning ambience for all-round development of students, to frame curriculum that develops global competencies, to empower students to face the changes and challenges in this job scenario, to awaken social consciousness and prepare socially responsible citizens through value-based education, to provide faculty with the space for innovation and teaching and research in line with vision and mission. You can say college will has initiated many programs and has included students every year from economically and socially weaker sections of the society, and you are admitting first generation learners, this and that, all that you can describe here. Of course, for 500 words, see, we are all doing research. In research, what do? We develop number of results, we study number of cases, but then at the beginning we give an abstract. So that abstract you have to give in 500 words for the response of the question, but the rest you can upload whatever amount you have prepared, you can upload as an additional information, and you can paste all these file names in a Word file, and you can upload that along with your response given in the abstract form. So perspective plan you can give building employment and entrepreneurship competencies through experiential learning, propagating and practicing social justice by admitting socially and economically disadvantaged sections, and so on and so forth. So that is the first question. If you take the second question, the effective leadership is reflected in various institutional practices such as decentralization and participative management. You can give the strategic plan one by one, and you can also say that if some institutions have not brought out a handbook to ensure transparency and guide the staff to discharge their responsibilities with ease and efficiency, the management has to bring out a handbook to ensure transparency, and that will guide the staff to discharge their responsibilities with ease and efficiency. So that handbook should provide policies, procedures, rules, benefits, and other service matters. How the leadership is decentralized, how you practice participative management. There will be head of the departments, management would have created vice principal, deans, some people for taking care of student welfare activities. So all that you have to bring here. The management, if The management has advised the policy of rotation of heads of departments in some colleges. For example, in our college, we have a rotation of heads of department. For a period of 5 years, one senior member will be the head of the department, then the next senior will be the head of the department. In some institutions, till one person retires for 20 years, 15 years or so, one person is heading the department, and there will be stagnation in the leadership. And many institutions have come forward having rotation of heads of department. All that you can put here. And one fine practice that we have in our St. Xavier's College of Palangote is that once in 15 days, we have a meeting of officials and heads of departments and coordinators. And there, the opinion is sought from the representatives. We cannot, the management cannot meet each and every staff member, each and everybody in the campus. So we have representatives. That representatives meeting we keep once in 15 days to get the not direction, to get opinion from them. They propose a number of activities based on the vision and mission and the motto of the institution, based on the outcomes we have stipulated. I'll talk about outcomes a little later. So we will carry out academic activities. So all you can describe here. If some institutions have academy industry interface or innovation incubation cell, institution innovation cell, recent one introduced by MHRD, all that you can bring in here. And in fact, it's in some colleges there will be a number of bodies. For example, in St. Xavier's College of Palangote, we have Governing Body, Academic Council, College Council, Finance Committee, IQAC, Awards Committee, Examination Committee, Appeals and Grievances Committee, Admission Committee, Curriculum Development Cell. Then we have service organizations. So we have all these compartments. All these compartments can be explained in detail, but then when you give the report, you have to give the abstract of your detailed report. So that is about 6.1.2. So if you go to the next indicator, key indicator, both for autonomous and affiliated institutions, 10 marks are given: strategy, development, and the deployment. So the first question is, in the institutional strategic or perspective plan is effectively deployed. So how it is deployed? Some institution may say we have got in-house software development for e-management. Most of the institutions will buy software. If you have a system wherein you produce your own software, so all that you can describe here, perspective plan, and how you maintain administrators portal for monitoring component allotment, staff and student profile, and so on. And then preparation and execution of daily teaching plan, semester-wise plan, all that you can explain here. Examination automation system, then things like that you can explain in this question, in this metric. So moving to the next metric, the functioning of the institution is effective and efficient as visible from policies, administrative setup, appointment, and service rules. So this even I told you earlier, and definitely the institution should have the book in which we have service rules, the structure of the institution, organizational structure of the institution, including governing body, administrative setup, functions of various bodies, service rules, procedures, retainment policy, promotional policies, also grievance redressal system. That is very, very important. So you can explain the procedure that is followed in your institution here. So that is about metric 6.2.2. So going to 6.2.3, it is a quantitative question. Wherever there is quantitative question, there will be a thing called a data template. Okay, as per data template, you have to provide all this. So implementation of e-governance in areas of operation, the 4 areas are given: administration, finance, then finance and accounts, student admission and support, examination. So if some colleges do not have e-governance in any one of these areas, it is better that you implement before going in for your preparation of self-study report. So what do you need? What you have to provide? It is given in the questionnaire itself. Apart from that, a thing called standard operating procedure, that is also given. So institutional expenditure statements for the heads of e-governance implementation reflected in the audited statement. You should highlight those items and you should produce. ERP document must be presented, must be uploaded. Screenshots of user interfaces of each module reflecting the name of the higher educational institution. You have to give annual e-governance report approved by governing council policy document on e-governance. You should have a document. As you have service rules, you should have a policy document on e-governance. And then you have to produce bills for the expenditure on implementation of e-governance in the areas of operation. So for all these components, you should have e-governance. Otherwise, it's time for you to introduce e-governance in all these 4 areas. So moving to the third key indicator. Third key indicator is family empowerment strategies in faculty empowerment strategies. In faculty empowerment strategies, the first question is the institution has effective welfare measures for teaching and non-teaching staff. For affiliated colleges, you have 5 marks, whereas for autonomous colleges, you have 4 marks. Marks are a bit different, but then questions are 99.99% same. So here you can give the different welfare measures, so that you have a family welfare fund, and then family welfare committee, then women's help, all that you can give. Suppose you have pension scheme, new pension scheme, old pension scheme, GPF, gratuity, leave encashment, retirement, retiring faculty facilities. Then what are the leave facilities you give for teaching and non-teaching? Then provision for admissions of eligible wards of employees, festival advance housing, house building loans facility, and then crutch, daycare facility, nursery, school within the college premises is if some colleges conduct, so you can give that. So all that you can give. Staff benefit fund, all that. Then leave travel concession, LTC, residential quarters, things like that. There are a number of things you can address here. ESA facility, pooling and donating funds in times of crisis to the support staff, financial assistance to meet emergency medical expenses of the support staff and their family members, fee concession for the wards of non-teaching staff, grants, granting maternity leave, medical leave, sabbatical leave, casual leave, all these things you can bring. You can give compliments to non-teaching staff, that is self-finance scheme during difficult times, free medical checkup, all these things you can bring here. Flexi timing, if you have for staff, for those who put in extra hours of work, you can give flexi timing. Then yoga awareness talks, seminars, retreats, and healing liturgical services conducted for the staff, canteen facility, banking facility, photocopying facility, internet facility. In our college, in St. Xavier's College of Palangotai, we have 24-hour internet facility in the campus, and it is free. Whenever staff members enter the campus, they enjoy free internet facility. Also, the students enjoy free internet facility. So all that we can include in this metrics. Then average percentage of teachers provided with financial support to attend the conferences, workshops, and towards membership fee of professional bodies. if you don't practice at present, at least hereafter you should practice, and you should have some good report about reasonable. Say there is a question, no, for some of the quantitative metrics. There will be questions wherein you will get a numerator and denominator. Of course, NAAC software will calculate all that, but then you have to see for yourself whether that performance indicator, that response is enough for you. So here at least 25% you should get after calculating. After using that formula, your calculation should give at least 25%. If you are going to have, say, 37% or 50% or 65%, it is well and good. So this is a data template for this question. Here, name of the teacher, name of the conference workshop attended for which financial support provided, name of the professional body for which membership fee is provided, and then if you go to standard operating procedure, clear documents that we have to produce are given. So policy document, first of all, we have to give e-copy of letters indicating financial assistance. It's not that you pay teachers, the assistants, the awarding letter must be there. E-copy of letters indicating financial assistance to teachers and list of teachers receiving financial support year-wise. You must present audited statement. You must present during DVV, data validation and verification process. Documents will be asked. So mere cash vouchers will not be accepted. So this is 632. So 633, average number of professional development and administrative training programs organized by the institution for teaching and non-teaching staff. Here also you have year-wise data, and then average you have to give for all the 5 years. So you have to give at least 50%. You have to give. Your response must be at least 50%. If you aim at 100%, it is well and good. Some colleges give 100% of response. If you can give somewhere between for 40 to 50% after computing using the formula given there, the NAAC manual, it's a better response. So here you have to give the list. You have to give the event brochures, reports year-wise, a list of participants, geotagged photographs you have to give with the date and the caption, how to produce geotagged photographs, all that are available in the NAAC manual. Annual reports highlighting the programs organized by the institution, all that you have to give. So this one, some departments will have the practice of inviting experts and delivering lectures. So that you should not include in this metric. Half-a-day seminar, one-day seminar conducted by one department, that you cannot give here. So here 634, going to 634, average percentage of teachers undergoing online face-to-face faculty development programs during the last 5 years. Remember, when the NAAC manual was introduced in the year 2017, NAAC said if a teacher has attended a 2-day long program, it can be included. But then, see, NAAC manual is updated every now and then. So recent communication says we cannot give 2-day program, and it is clearly given in the standard operating procedure that we have to give as per, say, UGC and norms are there, AICT norms are there, at least a 1 week long program must be there, and only that program you can give here. So list of participating teachers, you have to give, e-copy of the certificates you have to give, and if a teacher has attended more than one PDF, you have to count him as one, because here the question is a percentage of teachers undergoing. So one teacher, so if you are going to send only one teacher to different programs, then that will not be a count here. So you have to see to that all teachers are sent for different faculty development programs, at least a week-long 7-day program. AICT says at least 7 days you should have a faculty development program. So it is clearly given that 1-day seminar, all that will not be considered here. Programs of duration less than 1 week, it's clearly given, less than 1 week will not be considered here. So this is 634. So the response, when you compute using the formula given there, the response must be at least 60%. If you get somewhere between 50 to 60, it's a good one. Okay, then 635, the institution's performance appraisal system for teaching and non-teaching staff. So you have to prepare a manual by which you conduct performance appraisal for both teaching and non-teaching. So IQC has to do that. There are different types of feedback. First one, for syllabus in the first criterion you have heard, you should have collected. You may say you are under affiliated system, but you get feedback sent to university saying that this is the demand, this is the skill that we have to develop in our students. You pass on the feedback collected from students, teachers, employees, alumni, parents, and bring out an action taken report and forward it to university authorities so that when the revision takes place, they incorporate everything. Then you can also collect general feedback about the infrastructure or availability of teaching and non-teaching staff, or any aspect for the growth of the institution. It's not enough that you collect, analyze, action must be taken, and it should be posted on the website. And student satisfaction survey every year you should conduct, or in fact in St. Xavier's College, Palanguttai, every semester we conduct this student satisfaction survey. Then student feedback on teachers every semester for each paper, for each staff we are conducting student feedback on teachers. Then performance appraisal for faculty, it may be conducted semester wise or year wise. So you have to prepare questionnaire. For faculty, we have got these types of in St. Xavier's College, Palanguttai, we have got this type of performance appraisal, self-appraisal. We have prepared a questionnaire, peer appraisal, HOD appraisal, principal appraisal, and then jury appraisal. We collect the feedback, analyze, generate action taken report. So, and the very important thing is performance appraisal system. So once you do performance appraisal, then every staff member, every teaching and non-teaching staff member will do his or her work perfectly well, and quality will be ensured. So in facilitating the creation of learner-centric environment conducive for quality education, the administration, the governance plays a vital role, and in particular IQC has a greater role. So present-day education looks at increasing the knowledge and skills of the learners, enhancing the focus on higher order learning and professional skills. What are higher order learning? I'll soon talk about that. So what we teach, how we teach, and how we assess and attain outcomes, how we impart values and attitudes must be aligned with the learning outcomes that we are going to describe. So this is a straight question, internal and external audits, and so on and so forth. The funds received where you have not presented in Criterion 3, you have to bring here. All that is there. So this is the data template, and then annual audited statement we have to give. So all this we have to produce. Going to the next metric 643, institutional strategies for mobilization of funds. What procedure do we have? What are the work we have undertaken? All that we have to explain here. So very important system. So I will spend quite a lot of time here. For internal quality assurance system, it is though we call it internal quality assurance cell IQAC, but then it is a system. It's not like any other cell or any other committee. It monitors, it stimulates academic and administrative ambience. So an important system in the institution. So has contributed significantly for institutionalizing the quality assurance strategies and processes. I am going to deliver a number of points on this aspect. Of course, then you can give 2 practices. So see, this is another important question. The institution, 6th criterion, the governance has to take care of that. In particular, IQC has to take care of that. The institution reviews its teaching learning process. So reviewing teaching learning processes, structures and methodologies of operations, all criteria you have to monitor. The metrics covering all criteria what happens in the entire campus, you have to monitor. Learning outcomes at periodic intervals, you have to review. So what are the things you have to do? I am going to give a big list. So quality assurance initiatives of the institution include of these four, at least 3 you should undertake. So that's what is expected here. If it is possible, you go in for ISO certification and BA certification, all that. You can have a fourth one also. Okay. Now, you have to start from, see, I said governance has to take care of our internal quality assurance system, has to take care of certain things. You have got a motto, vision, mission, and all these 3 must be explained in terms of what they are called outcomes. So there are 3 types of outcomes: program outcomes, program specific outcomes, course outcomes. Stephen Covey would say in his 7 ways of highly effective people, begin with the end in mind. That's what. So we have to have a set of statements indicating the outcomes. So what are outcomes? Outcomes encompass what students should know and understand, what students should be able to do, what students should be like. So there are 3 types of outcomes. We will start from course outcomes. Course means it is a paper. Course means it is a paper. So course outcomes are statements that describe significant and essential learning that learners have achieved and can reliably demonstrate at the end of a course. At the end of the program, that means program outcomes. Of course, program outcomes are fixed at the institutional level. And the program specific outcomes, they are fixed at the end, at the department level. So course outcome at the course level, at the paper level. So all these, what students should know and understand, what students should be able to do, what students should be like. So these 3 types of outcomes you have to put forth. That's what you have seen in Criterion 2.6.1, 2.6.2. And in the first criterion, the very first question will be the delivery, teaching delivery. Do you have a systematic teaching and delivery? All that you have already visited. So the administration, the governance should pave way to bring out all these course outcomes, program outcomes, program specific outcomes. So how many program specific outcomes there? How many program outcomes there? How many course outcomes there can be there? I'll tell you. For engineering institution, NBA has fixed 12 statements as program outcomes, and 2 to 4 they will find at the department level. 2 to 4, so 4. So 12 plus 4, 16 statements are there for program outcomes and program specific outcomes. For program specific outcomes, they have limited the number to 4. Whereas in arts and science institutions, NAAC has not given anything mandatory, but in the manual it says you have to prepare program outcomes, you have to prepare program specific outcomes. So you can prepare 8 statements at the institutional level indicating what students should know and understand at the end of the program, what students should be able to do at the end of the program, what students should be like. So the 8 statements for program outcomes. 8 statements at the department level, so that is program specific outcomes, put together 16. And then for each course you have to prepare 6 statements that describe all these 3. So these are the things, engineering knowledge. I am giving NBA stipulation since it is fixed. Similar to that, we have to develop, each institution has to develop. See, look at the word here. So this is in nutshell, we are giving the first outcome, and then see, this is apply. This is called action verb. Apply the knowledge of mathematics and so on and so forth. You can read. Here you use this problem analysis, identify, formulate, review. All these are called action verbs. Then analyze. This is another action verb. Design. This is another action verb. And then conduct investigations of complex problems. Use research. So this is another action verb. And research methods and so on. Modern tool usage, create, select and apply, all these are action verbs. Action verbs, where do we take action verbs from? From Bloom's taxonomy, I will describe later. So your motto, vision should be explained in terms of what they are called outcomes. So fifth one. Sixth one, the engineer and society, apply. This is the action verb. Then environment and sustainability, understand the impact of professional engineering. Ethics, apply ethical. So apply, this is action verb. So this is another action verb. Communication, communicate effectively. This is action verb. Project management and finance, demonstrate knowledge. This is action verb. Then recognize. So this is action verb. So 12 program outcomes. Program specific outcomes I have not brought out here, but at the institution level for arts and science institution, at least 8 POs we have to describe, and then at least 8 PSOs we have to describe. So for writing either course outcomes or program specific outcomes or program outcomes, you can use Bloom's taxonomy. It was given in the year 1956, but then it was later revised in the year 2003. 6 levels, 6 cognitive levels you see here. So this is level 1, K1, remember, K2 understand, K3 apply, K4 analyze, K5 evaluate, K6 create. There are 6 cognitive levels of complexity. So these 4 are higher order complexity levels, higher order levels. Whereas first 2, so far in our teaching as well as in our testing methodology, we have been concentrating only on the first 2 levels. K1, remember, K2 understand, K stands for knowledge level. So K1, K2, K3, K4, K5, K6. So we were testing only mere the memory, the higher order abilities and skills we did not test at all. So you may say you are under affiliated system, but for university examination, you will have model test, rehearsal, in all that. You can implement all this. Don't simply blame that the university is having that setup. No, never we should blame any system. We have to create our own system, and we should experiment all this. So for writing course outcomes, for writing program specific outcomes, for writing program outcomes, we have to use Bloom's taxonomy, and for each level of complexity, we will also see action verbs. So for writing course outcomes, for each course, you can give at least 6 course outcomes, at least 6 statements that at the end of the course, the students will be able to do, will be able to understand, will be like, okay. So check 1, are they written using action verbs to specify definite observable behaviors? Does the language describe students' behavior rather than teachers' behavior? Of course, the teacher's role is very, very important, but then when we use the language, it should describe students' behavior. Then check 3, do the outcomes clearly describe and define the expected abilities, knowledge, values, and attitudes of the students of the course? Last one, can you collect the accurate and reliable data for each outcome? So these are the checkpoints. Each teacher can do this before delivering your course content. Of course, course content would have been given by university, but then how you are going to deliver your content, what outcome you are going to attain, all that are in your hands. So there are 4 checkpoints to write course outcomes. And in fact, you can prepare this matrix. You can write the course you are teaching. You can write course outcomes, okay, and you write the first course outcomes. And when you write the 6 course outcomes or 7 course outcomes or 8 course outcomes, at least 6 course outcomes you have to prepare. You have to give in the order of cognitive level. If you are catering to the first level, you put it as a first course outcome. If you are going to give the second statement catering to the second one, you give in the second position. So at least 6 course outcomes. If you in certain paper, you can take care of only the first 2 levels. It's all right. In this order, you can give. In certain papers, you will be able to cover all 6 cognitive levels. So it depends. At least the first 4 you should cover in a course, in a paper. So you can prepare course outcome matrix, okay? And this is a checkpoint. That means if you are able to put a tick mark everywhere, that means each course outcome you have brought out clearly. And then you prepare course articulation matrix. This is called the mapping your outcome with content, okay? So PO1 to PO8 for us, and then PSO1 to PSO8, and so on and so forth. So take each course, and then if this course outcome addresses program outcome 1, is it weak, medium, or strong? All that you can mention here. You can also use say letters W weak, medium, M strong, yes, R 1 2 3, something like that. So how do we fix this strong, weak, medium? If your course outcome addresses only the first two levels of Bloom's cognitive level of complexity, it is weak. Medium, the next two refers to the medium level mapping. Then the last two refers to the strong level of mapping. So that's how we have to get the mapping here. And then for the entire program, you put together for all courses, for the entire program, you can get the program articulation matrix. So we have to map outcomes through curriculum, and we have array of courses. So we have array of course outcomes. We have a set of program specific outcomes and program outcomes. We have to create educational experience through all these. We have to look at to which strata of students we are delivering our content, what quality teachers have, teachers profile and quality, what promotion of research and facilities do we have, what research mobilization we have, what innovation and ecosystem we have, what publication are our teachers having, student support, how much we support, what activities we conduct for student participation, how do we cater to student diversity, what is the teaching learning process that we undertake, all that will create educational experience. That educational experience will enable students to achieve a program specific outcome and program outcome. So all this, the governance must take care of, and in particular, the internal quality assurance should take care of. So once outcomes are defined, they determine, they influence all the teaching delivery and teaching learning process and assessment. So we have to align teaching learning process with the outcomes, and the one very important step is that preparing teaching delivery plan. So in the teaching delivery plan, as I showed you little earlier, a tabular column, you prepare a tabular column, put the date in the first column and hour, and for each paper, for each teacher, you have to write which content are you going to teach, okay, which content are you going to teach, and in that content, which course outcome you are addressing, which either program specific outcome or program outcome you are addressing, which one you are addressing, which cognitive level you are addressing, which teaching method you are going to use, which teaching tool you are going to use, PPT, or I am going to use a number of teaching tools in the next few slides. So which teaching tool you are going to use. So all that before entering into the class, you have to prepare a teaching delivery plan, without which you should not enter into class. So when you come to the teaching tool, there are nowadays number of ICT tools available, and there are questions also pertaining to ICT tools and so on and so forth in different criteria. So present day students are digital natives, and therefore you can practice a certain amount of ICT tools. So these are the ICT tools so that you can practice. Of course, IQC can spearhead, or governance, the administration can take care of all this. You can train your staff members. These are certain tools that are available. Some are free, 90% are free, and you can prepare teaching materials through these sites. Of course, Google site, if you take, it is an version. It contains lots and lots of facilities through which you can deliver. See, in the classroom, inside the classroom, you have fixed hour of duration. You can exchange your views only to a certain extent. The rest you can prepare the study material and you can put in the website. So IQAC can prepare e-contents and you can upload e-contents by each staff member, at least 5 to 10 e-contents by each staff member. You can prepare all these tools you can make use of. So in all these, you can give training. These are mostly, to some extent, the freely available free softwares. So you have to give training, not teaching training. Teaching training, you have to give. So there are questions in the 6th criterion, and there are questions in the 2nd criterion. There are questions in the 1st criterion. Don Brown says knowledge is a tool, so that has to be used. Its impact is only in the hands of the user. So if you look at the study conducted by McGraw-Hill Education, 81% of students said digital learning technology has helped them boost their grades. So it is important that we integrate ICT. So this is what I told you: program outcomes, course outcomes, and so on and so forth. For affiliated colleges, you get 15 marks. And then here, attainment, you get another 15 marks. So this is a result. The result is only one part in the attainment. So in attainment, there are many parts are there. I may not have sufficient time to explain all that, but I'll just throw some light on that. Okay. So Bloom's taxonomy for assessment design, as well as for bringing out outcomes. I told you earlier that there are 6 levels. Level 1, there from the bottom we gave K1, K2, K3, K4, K5, K6. Each one is explained here, remembering, recalling, that's all. Understanding, explaining, applying, use it in another familiar situation, analyzing, break that into different parts, and you are exploring it further and getting the relationship of different parts, evaluating, justifying a decision, creating, generating new ideas, products, or new ways of viewing things. So for each one, what is the skill demonstrated, what action verbs you can use, both for writing outcomes, both for asking questions in your class test or model test, whatever it is. You have to use these action verbs, both for bringing out outcomes and see, when you frame a question paper for your class test or for your model test, for the lower order, there should be only 40% of questions. That is for remember and understand. There should be only 40% of questions. For higher order, you have to allocate 60% of marks of your questions. So this is the first level. And going to the second level, understand. So what are the skills demonstrated? You grasp meaning, translate knowledge into new context, interpret facts, compare, contrast, order, group, intercauses, predict consequences, and so on. These are the action verbs that will indicate that you are meaning, you are concentrating on the K2, the second level of cognitive complexity. So going to the third one, level, that is K3, apply. These are the skills demonstrated. They use information, use methods, concepts, laws, theories in new situations, solve problems, and so on and so forth. So this is these are the action verbs. Then fourth one, these are the action verbs: classify, outline, break down, categorize, analyze, diagram, illustrate, infer, select, and so on. So what are the skills demonstrated? Break down a complex problem into parts. So in analyze, taxonomy. And then in evaluate, these are the skills demonstrated. Moderator, how many more minutes do I have? Moderator, madam.
Yes, sir, you have 5 more minutes.
Okay. These are the skills demonstrated. These are the action verbs you have to use. So I am saying that you have to use these action verbs both for assessment and for writing outcomes, course outcomes, program specific outcomes, whatever it is. You have to use only these action verbs. So before preparing question paper for your class test or for your model test, you have to prepare this. See question number and then marks and which CO you are addressing, which Bloom's level you are addressing, which program outcome. There is a thing called the program performance indicator. I may not have sufficient time to address that. So all that you get the blueprint and then you prepare, you write down actual questions. So assessing attainment of outcomes is very, very important. So to conduct one such a component. So all these will come in there to attain the outcome. So in the attainment of outcome, there are and so on. So in curriculum attainment, you have to have effective curriculum delivery through a well-planned and documentation process, teaching delivery plan, and then there you should have course outcome, Bloom's taxonomy, all that, and then mapping competencies and performance indicators. Every PO or PSO should imply that different ability should be attained by the learner. They are called performance indicators. So they are testing points, testing statements, statements of expectations of a student learning. They act as measuring tools. So program outcome and program specific outcome can be attained, they can be measured in two ways: direct method, that is examination and other things and so on and so forth. The indirect, you have course end survey, program end survey, alumni survey, all that you have to bring, and it's a big another big area. We have to spend quite a lot of time there in getting that in the attainment calculation. So present day education looks at this. Even earlier I told you, so what we teach, how we teach, and how we assess and attain outcomes must bring essential changes. So every teacher plays a catalytic role in these four things: formulation of program outcomes, program specific outcomes, and course outcomes. Only there you get the clarity of focus, and then you have to map outcomes through curriculums, and then you have to design and deliver as aligned teaching learning activities, and then you should have the calculation of attainment of outcomes. So there we have to look at these three things. This is the triple mantra of NAAC manual. Okay, so coming to IPSC, IPSC has the greater role. You can conduct audits, you can conscientize teachers' minds, student minds, you can give motivation to non-teaching staff and so on and so forth. For departments, you can give a questionnaire, you can conduct academic audits, you can rank the units of departments can be ranked, service organization can be ranked, offices and other facilities can be ranked, research centers can be ranked, like that. So you should create the contributor paradigm. You should create the contribution mind in the staff members and students' minds. So the role of IPSC is nothing but it is a trim tab. You should have heard about what is called a trim tab. The trim tab is nothing but in a ship you move a steering wheel that operates a rudder itself, which then turns the ship, but the rudder can be enormous, perhaps even 10 stories tall on some ocean liners. So what moves the rudder? A tiny second rudder. So that tiny second rudder is called trim tab. So the IPSC, the governance and leadership and administration should steer the entire institution, and you should bring a quality in each and every walk of the campus. So you have to create quality benchmarks. You have to document the website creation. You have to undertake. All activities must be reported through internal quality assurance cell. Management information system must be available. All must be with the internal quality assurance cell. There must be a system in place. Before conducting any academic event, it must be reported to the IPSC, and then it should be conducted. So a number of seminars you have to conduct, internal quality assurance cells you should have to conduct, and then it's also data handling and data computation. In every industry, in every company, there will be R&D unit like that. Internal quality assurance system must act as an R&D unit. What improvements we have to do in each sphere of academic life in the campus. So only internal quality assurance system should look at that. So it must be equipped with an IT team consisting of MCAs and MEs in order to support technology to IQAC to undertake all these activities. So data handling and computation, research, and you have to generate action taken report for improvement in all aspects in the institution. So all these things we have to carry out. In a nutshell, I am giving the role. AAA, academic and administrative audit you have to conduct every year. You can rank the units of the institution. You have to prepare questionnaire to different strata, departments, research center, service organizations, so like that. You conduct academic audit every year. Annual qualification report you got to submit. NARF you got to submit. And you can bring out newsletter. You can motivate all units to publish newsletter. Green audit you have to conduct. Energy audit you have to conduct. I have not mentioned many things here. Only a few things I have mentioned. The orientation programs training, ERP you have to have. All these things you have to conduct. And IQAC must be very, very active. So all these things you have to carry out. You have to bring out program outcomes, program specific. Of course, you have to play a you are bringing out. You have to make staff members and the institution to undertake all that. So IQAC has to develop a quality system for conscious, consistent and catalytic programmed action to improve the academic and administrative performance of the college. And you have to promote measures for institutional functioning towards quality enhancement through internalization of quality culture and institutionalization of so it's time, I hope. What will be one's contribution in order to make a great career, in order to enhance the quality of higher education? This boils down to finding a work that taps our talent, fuels our passion, and satisfies our conscience. Always we should have the mantra of quality or excellence in all your work. Then that mantra will tap your talent, will fuel your passion, will satisfy your conscience. You can make a great career by your contribution to the institution and in turn to the nation. Your great contribution will make you participate in the nation building exercise, and your contribution will enhance the quality of higher education. So let me conclude with the quote of Aristotle: we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You have covered all the metrics of Criterion 6, as we find it, as I have already stated, that it is a very important criterion. And I hope we, SFS College, and all the participants who are attending this webinar, they will immensely profit when they go for next accreditation, sir. And sir, we have certain questions from the participants. A few questions. So here I go for the question answer sessions. So one question is from Dr. T.S. Sindhu. He has asked how to prepare organogram of the institution.
How to prepare?
Yes, organogram of the institution.
Yes, madam. You first put down in a paper different units, different bodies available in the institution, and then you can start from the governing council. I don't know how you call there. Here we call it a governing body. Right from governing council, and depending upon the hierarchy, you put it down, and related units can be clubbed together.
Yes, sir. Sir, There is one more question from the participant that in 6.1.1 metric, this governance of the institution is reflective of and in tune with the vision and mission of the institution. Sir,
Yes.
the question is, can the vision and mission change with time?
If you feel that vision and mission statements will not pave way for preparing your program outcome statements, program specific outcome statements, you change. Definitely,
Okay,
you can change.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is one more question. In 6.6 that is the functioning of the institutional bodies is effective and efficient as visible from policies, administrative setup, appointment and service rules, procedures, etc. The question is, what kind of documentary proof is needed here, sir?
You bring out service.
Okay. Sir, the next question is from Anjum M. Nalivar from St. Joseph College, is asking whether the new education policy going to affect the NAAC assessment. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. The next question is.
Hello, madam. Yes, madam. You give the name service rules. That's all.
Yes. Sir, I'm going to the next question.
Right.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, madam. For the previous question, do you need clarification? Some more clarification?
Yes, sir.
Is right from the chairman of a governing body. You have to give the roles and the management. What are the roles? For principal, vice principal, IKC director, like that. For everybody, you have to give up to the student. You have to give in black and white. You can say roles and responsibilities of different stakeholders in the campus.
Okay, sir. Sir, the next question is, there is a question from the participant, that is whether the new education policy going to affect NAAC assessment.
Definitely, there will be some body which will assess the outcome of the institution. It will not affect. It may be renamed. But then, like NAAC, definitely there will be a body to assess the outcome of institution.
So the last question is from metric 6.3.3. Average number of professional development administrative training program organized by the institution for teaching and non-teaching staff during the last 5 years. So does this mean in-house faculty development program what most of the college organize every year?
Yeah, it's in-house program only. Staff members. Sometimes you might invite staff members for your program, but when you for your program, you might invite. You might have a 4-day program, 5-day program, and you might invite participants from other colleges. But when you give a number of participants, you have to give the number of participants of your own institution. That question refers to the programs conducted in your institution for your staff members.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for your enlightened speech. And I, Dr. Mrs. Purabi Bhattacharya, HOD History, I thank you on behalf of the management, SFS College, IKC coordinator, staff and members, and all the participants who have participated in this webinar. Now, I hand over the proceedings to Dr. Nikhat Naqvi, HOD Botany of SFS College. Naqvi, madam, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya. That was indeed a wonderful session. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Nikhat Naqvi, Associate Professor and Head of the Botany Department, St. Francis de Sales College, Nagpur, welcoming you to the second session of today's workshop, organized by St. Francis de Sales College, Nagpur. In this session, we will be deliberating on Criterion 7, Institutional Values and Best Practices. It's my privilege to introduce the esteemed guest speaker of this session, Dr. Clayton Michael Fonceca. Dr. Clayton Michael is Assistant Professor of Social Work, Sacred Heart College, Tirupatur. He is MPhil PhD in Social Work. He also holds postgraduate diploma in Journalism and Public Relation. He has chaired many sessions in national seminars and conferences. He has conducted many training programs. He has, to his credit, many publications in national and international journals of repute. He has also presented many research papers in national and international conferences, especially on corporate social responsibility and many social problems related to youth and adolescents. He has also been a resource person and presented a paper on NAAC Criterion 7, Institutional Values and Best Practices, a critical analysis of Sacred Heart College, Tirupatur. He has been actively involved in many projects related to social work. He has authored 2 books and edited 1 book on opportunities and challenges in revised accreditation framework for Higher Education Institute in 2019. I now request Dr. Clayton Michael to proceed with his presentation on Criterion 7, Institutional Values and Best Practices. The participants can pose their questions in the chat box, and please write your name and affiliation so that we know from where you are joining in. So I now request Dr. Clayton to please proceed with his presentation. Dr. Clayton, please.
So thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction that you have given. Am I audible first?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So let me start with let me see that I could share my slide. Just a minute. So is my slide visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, so a pleasant afternoon to one and all gathered here. I take this opportunity to thank the IQAC team of St. Francis de Sales College, Nagpur, for this novel initiative in organizing this 4-day online national workshop on the intricacies of NAAC assessment for better scoring. So with no further ado, I will be talking to you about Criteria 7 and how you can use this Criteria 7 to get better weightage of scoring in your NAAC assessment. So this Criteria 7, so before going into Criteria 7, what I like to emphasize is NAAC is not a fault finding body, it's a fact finding body. So what you show on paper is what they come and verify. It's not to cross check, it's not to put the institution down, it's just what facts you present, they just want to verify that. So this Criteria 7 has its core focus on the values, the best practices of the institution, and what makes your institution so distinctive. For this criterion, there is a weightage of 100 marks which is given. And it's classified, as I said, into 3 components. The first one, institutional values and social responsibilities, which carries a weightage of 50 marks. The best practices of the institution, you should name any 2, and each of it carries 15, so a total of 30 marks. And finally, the distinctiveness of your institution, which carries a total weightage of 20 marks. So is my PPT visible?
Yes,
Are you
sir,
able to hear me? Is my PPT visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible,
Okay.
and you are audible also.
Thank you. Just checking. Okay. So the first part is the organization NAAC would like to look into your gender equity programs. By means of gender equity, what you mean is equity programs which are given for women as well as for men. So they would like to know a description of 500 words. What are the gender equity programs that you have in your institution? For example, the facilities in your campus. By facilities, NAAC would be very interested in knowing about the safety and security measures of your college, the counseling proceedings in your college, whether there are common rooms, and whether there's a daycare facility in your institution. So to look at safety and security, what NAAC would like to look into, whether there are CCTV cameras over there. If you have CCTV cameras, how many CCTV cameras are available? In which locations are these available? Do you have a trained security personnel? So trained security personnel, by the mean, any one of them is an ex-serviceman, or this is a reputed security service agency which you are hired, or do you have your own security services? Do they carry a walkie-talkie with them? Then they would like to know about counseling centers. So counseling is very important nowadays, where you have a male counselor and a female counselor. So a male counselor cannot, though he is a counselor, there are certain problems which women will be comfortable in sharing with a women counselor, and boys would be better sharing it with a male counselor. So do you have a separate counseling facility for men and women in your college? Whether there are common rooms for students in your college, where male students can get together, female students could get together, and they could discuss issues. Whether there's a separate, by means of common room. So we come from a rural area, and by the end of the third year in undergraduation, some students are married, they're even carrying a child. So whether there's a common room for baby feeding, which is available in the institution. Then where there's a daycare facility, irrespective of teaching or non-teaching faculty members or non-teaching staff, there should be a daycare center. So where parents could leave the child over there and they could concentrate on the upcoming of the organization. So whether these facilities are there, that's what NAAC would like to look into in this particular gender equity. Another thing that they would like to look into is some programs which are related to women. I'm sure your organization would celebrate International Women's Day, whether you have any programs exclusively for women, scholarship for women, whether there's any training on women's health and fitness, whether students, in case your college is only male students are there, whether male students are taught the value of women, which is the need of the hour. Whether we talk about a lot of Women's Day being celebrated, but very few importance is given to Men's Day, whether equal opportunity is given for the male folks also. The most important thing, whether there are programs on internet safety for women. Now we know social networking has become the order of the day. Once upon a time, students were taught not to bring the mobile phones in school or colleges, but now the periphery of the universe has changed. We take online webinars, we take online classes via the mobile phone. So whether we are taught them the importance of internet safety. So these are some things that NAAC would like to look into in the first part of this particular criteria. The second one, they would like to know about how far is your organization environmental conscious. So whether your organization has solar panels, whether you have a biogas facility in your college, whether there is a smart grid, whether you use LED bulbs. So when NAAC assessment came to our college, they wanted to know the number of LED bulbs that are there. And if you're using like AC and all that, is there a star rating for it? Nowadays, we talk about ACs with 5-star rating. So whether there's a 5-star rating in your, facilities that are available. And all these credentials, it has to be geotagged. Geotagged in the sense, there's an app which I've given in the particular slide over there. It's called Geotag Photo Pro. You just take a photo of that particular, if you say solar panels, you take a photo of it and automatically this app will give you the latitude, longitude, and it will tell you where this facility exists. So even before coming to your institution, NAAC will just go to that particular link over there and check whether this facility is available. For example, a better example. So this is one college from Mumbai, what I've taken, where 70% of the electricity is only generated via solar panels. And what they have stated is the college saves around 1.6 lakhs every month in terms of electricity bill. And these particular solar panels are sufficient to run adequate fans, air conditioners, lifts, laboratories, and even classrooms. So think about it. For example, LED bulbs. So this is an example of Bishop Heber College, Trichy, where the fitness center and the administrative building has a LED bulbs facility. Statistically speaking, and according to energy conservation reports, if a single incandescent bulb is switched on for 10 hours for a period of 2 months, it will cost ₹2, whereas the same LED will cost only around 50 paise. So imagine if you're having 100 or you're having 1,000 incandescent bulbs in your college, how much of energy you will be using. As the saying goes, energy once saved is better than energy twice generated. So that is the core aspect that NAAC looks into in this particular credential over there. Next, NAAC would like to look into your waste management systems. What are the waste management practices of your organization? Whether you have solid waste management, in case solid waste management, we mean the waste that is generated from the hostels or etc. The liquid waste management, water that is used from the toilet facilities or facilities which you have a tap opening over there, how you manage it. Biomedical waste management, chemicals that are being used in your laboratories. E-waste management in terms of your computer peripheries, your old computers, your old keyboards, your old mouse, even your mobile phones, how well do you discharge them? Whether you have a water cycling plant over here, whether you have a rainwater harvesting structure, in case you're into an industry or you have a tie-up in a chemical lab, you have, how does this hazardous waste or chemical products, for example, we talk about waste that is generated from chemicals, battery waste, battery water, how is this being safely disposed? So NAAC would like to know, like, whether you have any MOU signed with any of the agencies also. For example, in Chennai over here, we have an agency called Vivo Green, which they take all the e-waste management products and they give us a certification. So NAAC would like to look into that, whether you have a certification, and for that you have a weightage around 4 marks. Next, I would like to look into water conservation on a totality aspect. So whether you have rainwater harvesting structures, whether there's a borewell facility, in case there's a borewell, is it being maintained? Whether you have construction of water tanks and buds, whether these water tanks are cleaned, whether you have water cycle, wastewater recycling plants, maintenance of water bodies. See, when we had the NAAC visit over here, they visited every single structure what we mentioned. As I told you, NAAC is not here to find a fault, but to just verify the facts. And as I was saying, these structures that you have in your college, they need to be geotagged with photographs or videos that you have. For example, I am given, this is a college from Mylapore, where they used to suffer from water crisis, where rainwater was the only source of getting water facility, and throughout the year, around 3 months, 4 months, there used to be a drought. So what this college came about, they developed something called a plastic low density polythene, and they inserted it in this particular area which was dug. And today, the college has self-sufficient around 1 lakh liters of water, which is being pumped from this well. And the college is able to provide for around 5 to 6 months, which makes them water savvy, and there's no shortage of water in sport. So this is just one college which I'm just projecting for your information. Next, I would like to know about the Green Campus initiatives of your college, which carries a weightage of 4 marks. Whether you have a restrict entry of automobiles. So here in Sacred College, we have something called the No Drive Day, where every Monday, faculty, students, non-teaching staff, everyone is supposed to come to college using a cycle, a bicycle, or using the public mode of transport. No faculty member or student is allowed to enter the campus with an auto-powered vehicle. For example, a petrol engine vehicle or a car or bike is not allowed to enter the campus on Monday. So we take a stock of this, we take an entry of this. So whether your college also has battery powered vehicles, for example, if there are elderly people or elderly parents coming to visit the principal or coming to visit your campus, so even if there's a person who's differently able, whether you have these vehicles over there, whether you have pedestrian friendly paths, whether there's a separate path for students to walk, whether there's a separate path for people to commute to college, whether there's a ban on plastics that is available in your campus, and whether there's a landscaping of trees and plants. Landscaping by the means creating year what in Sacred College, what we did is we did landscaping, and then for every single tree over there, we gave it its botanical name, its origin, and we gave its local name also. And every morning in Sacred College, we have the campus opened for people to commute, people to make use of it for jogging. Now it's not available because of the COVID-19 situation. So this is one way where we enrich the green campus initiatives of our college. Another example is what a college which they have something called a green committee, where what we suggested was 1 hour could be used by students, could make use of this 1 hour, especially only for green initiatives, preferably a Saturday. So these documents could be uploaded on the website. For example, every college must be having a Facebook account or an Instagram account. And one practice which I found very tricky from one of the colleges, foreign colleges, was they have something called the shred day. They have these huge shredding machines over there, and most of us definitely we carry some kind of papers or rubbish with us, plastic packets and all this. So there's this huge shredding machine, and every particular day of the month, faculty, students, whatever waste paper, whatever they have, they come and they deposit this in this shredding machine, and the waste that is generated from there is given to the public over there, for even the corporation, the municipality, for better dispose facilities. So this is one thing that they do in a foreign institution. Next, what they would like to look into your quality audits, that is your green campus initiatives, and how well have you audited this, by means of green audit, by means of energy audit, by means of environmental audit, whether your college has got any campus recognition awards. For example, when you talk about CSR initiatives, we talk about the Golden Peacock Award, which is an award given to an institution catering to the green environment. Whether you have any practices beyond the campus. For example, I could say Swachh Bharat, which you keep your campus clean, and not only your campus but outside the institution, if you can keep it clean, that is something that NAAC would like to look into. For example, I'm given, this is from Davidson College, USA. As you know, the current statistics of our country, okay, according to Down to Earth 2019 in an article, a total of 45 farmers commit suicide every day in our country. Okay, I'm not cooked up this information. This is what I've taken from the website called Down to Earth. And if an institution is located in a rural or urban area, the institution can host a monthly farmers market. So you can invite the farmers to come inside, and perhaps one particular day, even half a day, they could sell their products or the vegetables, fresh vegetables, whatever they have in your institution. You will be not only catering to your NAAC practices, but you'll be also rendering an helping hand to the farming community. So this is what Davidson College does. But however, now in this COVID-19 situation, I would not advise this practice right now. Another example, a school in Chennai. They have something called Rooftop Gardening. As you know, today faculty, students, every one of us, we are running for time, and it's the need of the hour. There is something that we also need to do that would relax our mind. So campus gardens are becoming a growing trend in colleges. Universities, as they are not only signify beauty, but also play a significant role in the control of carbon emission. So as you're telling you, green audit. So you can take if you have a physics department or you have a biotechnology department, they can take an audit of how much your campus, the environment, the green environment of your campus is able to produce a low carbon footprint. There could be one day Saturday where students can be given time for rooftop gardening. And mind it, this is just a school which is doing it. What about colleges? There are so many colleges across India. What if all of us join hands in doing something that would really cater to our Mother Earth? Definitely it would be something to reckon with. Some practices that are beyond the campus, for example, a campus radio. So you could talk about here, since we are a social work department, we talk about the various programs that have been conducted, and definitely most of your colleges will have a social work department where students carry out a lot of committee organization programs where people from different parts of the community get benefited. So if you have a social work department, that could be addressed on a campus radio. And I talk about campus cleaning. So here at Tirupattur, there is also a small lake over here, and where students take part in active cleaning of this lake. There also last year there were around 5,000 palm trees. Palm trees are becoming a real lesser in number day by day. So around 5,000 palm seeds were planted in around Tirupattur district. And even we have a practice called seed balls, where various seeds are put into a mud and we make them into a ball and we give them to students. So wherever students go, they could just throw that, and one day hopefully that would generate. So it's just an initiative which has been tried out. It's not yet being verified. So another thing that they would like to look into is whether your campus is disabled friendly. We talk about differently abled students, whether there are separate ramps, whether there are separate lift facilities available for such students. whether there's a washing room for them. As you know, different label friends, definitely our common toilets and all will not be applicable for them, whether there's a separate disabled friendly washrooms available for them, whether there is a signage boards. So one thing NAAC would like to look into, whether each part of your organization or each particular sector of your organization is being named, and whether there is a adequate roadmap that is available for students to commute across. In case a new person is coming to your college, how will he or she be able to move around your campus? So whether there are display boards, whether there is, in case you have a blind student over there, okay, whether you have a screen reading software. For example, we talk about JAWS. JAWS is a screen reading software. Whether these books, even braille books, are available in your library. Whether there is a scribe facility, especially when students are writing the semester exams or when they are writing the CIA examinations, whether your organization gives them assistance, human assistance for being a scribe, whether these students are given extra time for them to write their examination. So these are small snippets which NAAC would like to look into, and every single facility, say ramps, lifts, every single facility of this has to be geotagged, and now they have stated that videos of such facilities has to be included. When I was working in a previous college, when we talked about washrooms and all that, you wouldn't believe me that the NAAC team members, they visited every single toilet facility. They wanted to see whether the toilets are clean, inclusive of male students' toilet. They just visited just to know whether we are saying the facts or not. Okay, so they would just like to cross-verify. They're not here to find fault. They're just here to cross-verify such facilities that you have in the institution. The next one is your institution's inclusiveness, inclusion, and situatedness. So whether your organization gives equal enrollment facilities irrespective of caste, culture, creed. So irrespective of religion, whether admission is given. There are some institutions, I don't even wish to name names, okay, which only one particular community of students are taken to a maximum of 80%, and other just 20% is given. So whether your organization or your college gives facility, equal opportunity to everyone, whether it's rich, poor, irrespective of nationality, culture, caste, community, creed. So where there's diversity in your college, where there's a rich diversity. So that's what they would like to look into. And all they would like to have is a written description of how you cater towards this. The next one, whether your college promotes human values and professional ethics. So whether there are values on honesty, whether there's a value on accountability. So whether you have any training programs, or whether you have any seminars that are being organized exclusively for this. Whether you talk about the Constitution of India, the rights, the fundamental duties of each citizen, whether you talk about the right to equity, the right to freedom, whether you have conducted any seminars or workshops or any kind of a program honoring any of this. So they would like to know a written description of this for a total of 500 words. So you need to talk about your institution, able to render a seminar or to talk about having a small talk on promoting the rights, fundamental rights, fundamental duties of Constitution of India to make the college students better citizens of our country. The next one that I would like to look into is whether your organization has a code of conduct. So I'm sure every organization would have a handbook where they'll be given guidelines, disciplinary procedures for students, what are the code of conduct for teachers, what are the code of conduct for administrators, what are the disciplinary procedures. So NAAC would be very interested in knowing whether this code of conduct is displayed in your website. If you have a website, they would be very much sure when they click that link, they want to see this code of conduct over there. Whether you have a separate committee to go through this code of conduct. When I was working in one institution, when NAAC came for the verification, they asked us whether there were any kind of grievance addressal which have been done. We stated that there was no grievance being done. And there's 1 hour exclusively given for the NAAC committee to discuss with students, and no faculty members or any kind of a person related to the organization should be present. And when they had this interaction with students pointed out a lot of grievances. So there was a discrepancy between what was said by the organization and what was said by the students, whereby the institution lost a lot of weightage of marks. Definitely, all of us have a grievance addressal box. When you open these boxes, sometimes the boxes are just there. So how many days in a week? So how many days in a month do you open this box? And when you open this box, whether there's any committee to monitor this, And in case there are any complaints, how do you address these complaints? So that's what they would like to know. Whether your organization has organized any programs to promote the ethics of students. Teacher-student relationship is nowadays becoming the need of the hour. So how is this issue being addressed? Whether there are separate programs on ethics for students, programs on ethics for teachers, administrators, and even other faculty. Whether there's annual awareness programs on the code of conduct in case you're having new joinees in the institution, new faculty, whether they are given an induction training on these are the rules and regulations of the colleges, and this is where the college stands out, and this is the code of conduct of the institution, and that's what they would like to know in this particular criteria which is over there. So what they would like to know is you need to upload your code of ethics and the monitoring company, how many people are there in this committee, whether there's equal representation of male and female members, who are these members, and in case any other information that you have that would throw light on this, definitely it's more than welcome. The next one is they would be happy to know if your organization celebrates national and international festivals or days or events. So you need to give a description of this for the last 5 years. Even if you have not started yesterday, it's better to start today. Okay, so I'm sure definitely most of the institutions would have celebrated Republic Day, Independence Day, Environmental Day, Gandhi Jayanti, so on and so forth. Apart from that, there are different types of events which are being conducted. So NAAC would like to have a written document of this, just for 500 words. So what are the festivals that you're being celebrated, and how many students participated, when was these festivals organized, and the number of students that participated in this. There's a template which is given, and they would like to look into that. The next one, down to the last three, the best practices of your organization. Why do you say that these two, you need to have two best practices? And you need to say why these two are the best practices of your institution. They need to be unique, and it has to emphasize why you say it's the best. So they're given it like this: the title of the practice, objectives of the practice, the context, and they're giving you a description of how many words. Now I'll be explaining that. And then they talk about the practice. How is it unique? The context of Indian higher education. So if you say you have practice, you have to talk about how it is useful for the higher education. And you have to prove evidence of success. Why do you say it's been successful? You have to even show how you have achieved this. Then you have problems encountered. So what are the problems that you encountered while carrying out this practice? So that needs to be ensured in the total of 150 words. Seventh one is just any other optional thing which is not required. So for example, in Sacred College, we have something called, we named one of the best practice called Communicative English Program. As you know, here in Sacred College, Tirupattur, we come from a very rural district, and a majority of the students coming to our college are from a rural background. And they have done the schooling in the vernacular language, mean Tamil medium. So it is synonym to say that most of these students have a difficulty in communicating in English. So against this need, this background, that this practice on communicative English was carried out. Small research. So we did a research with this program was started with the first years and carried on till the third year. So after 3 years, we evaluated all the students, mind you, the entire composition of undergraduate students. And we used SPSS to test the outcome. And we had research questionnaires and scales to measure this. And what we found out was the outcome of this research revealed that more than a majority, that 65.4% of the students stated that they were able to improve the English vocabulary and have developed the skill in reading, writing, and speaking. Mind you, when you say these facts, they would like to know the data that you have collected, the questionnaire that you have used, and where is this data stored. So we had to have everything in the order of the day. So we also found out that more than half of the students of the more than half of the students stated that the Communicative English program was able to develop some kind of the proficiency in communicating in English. And it was noteworthy to mention the fact that the program has created a standard and benchmark to enable students to become more efficient in English. So we addressed all the issues which are over there. The next one, what we had is something called a Seeding Hope Services Center, which is basically the counseling center. And we have something called SHAPE, Sacred Art Accompaniment Program, where every faculty is assigned 5 to 6 students, and they monitor the students the entire year. Okay. So what we found out was from the reports from the counseling center, what we have over here, we found that most of our students over here had a result of unhealthy parenting styles, and their exposure to alcohol and abusive parents was something which most of them experience. And as it is said in psychology, a student's success lies in the health and status of his physical and psychological well-being. And what better way to counsel them and to make them overcome these practices? So one program is where each faculty is assigned 5 to 6 students, and he or she plays the role of a counselor when the problem is beyond their control, or in case they find that they are not able, if I'm a teacher, I'm not able to counsel a student and not able to find any kind of a result in it, I would definitely refer him or her to the counseling center. And we did the scientific research to understand how effective these practices were. And what we found out was a majority, that more than 67.6% of the students stated a high level of fulfillment with regard to the counseling center. So they felt that most of the problems have been addressed. And when we say this results, they wanted, sometimes we maintain confidentiality when we talk about counseling of students' name, we change the name and all that. They would like to speak to a couple of students to really see how effective this was. In that particular status quo, we had to reveal the names of any 2 students which they handpicked, and they cross-verified whether this counseling center was effective. So the analysis also clearly emphasized the fact that the above practices played a noteworthy role in its outreach to the student community in rendering better guidance, motivation, and effective problem solving. So this is what we mentioned as the 2 best practices of our institution. Coming on to the last one, where we talk about the distinctiveness of the institution. So when you talk about distinctiveness of your institution, you need to say why your institution is distinct. What makes your institution different from others? What makes your institution so unique? So you need to identify one particular area where you can say that your college is very unique, and you have to give a write-up for this for around 1,000 words. I'll give you an example what we did in Sacred College. We said that our research is our distinctiveness. We spoke about our research facilities. We said that one of the hostels have been demolished and converted into a research block to promote research. We also talk about a new building which was constructed, APRC, Central Analytical Instrumentation and Instrument Fabrication Centers, where we developed separate centers. And we also said that 5 online journals were started from the year 2017. Then we also went one step further, where we said every single student, postgraduate student's research or project is being tested for plagiarism. Today, you know, the Research Committee of India is very firm on, especially when it comes to plagiarism. Okay, in case you're a PhD scholar or you're going to pursue your PhD, or even if you're a postgraduate scholar, your report needs to be unique. So Sacred College, here we said that we have purchased a software, and every single postgraduate student's project is being tested for plagiarism. So only on successful completion of this certification is he or she or a project being accepted for the final Viva OC or for the project work. Then we also said we have something called Sacred Art Fellowship for students and Don Bosco Research Grants. Today in our country, it's very difficult for all faculty members to apply for the Women's Commission or the University Grants Commission to acquire funds. Ask for every single student or every single faculty to apply for these government fellowships. So what Sacred College has done, what we did over here is we developed by ourselves certain funds for faculty as well as for students to take up research. And if there is a student, postgraduate student willing to go an extra mile and say, I want to do this research, definitely it comes out with a proposal and it's being evaluated by a particular team, and a fellowship amount is given to them. Even for a faculty, we have something called Don Bosco Research Grant, and it is given for faculty members also to pursue their research in which is their own interest area. So what we found out was, for the period of 2013 to 2018, a total amount of 2 crores, 59 lakhs, 99,031 rupees were obtained for such grants, and research projects for faculty were supported. We also said that every department has a research forum in which students are encouraged to participate in seminars, workshops, present papers, okay, so on and so forth, whereby we increase the distinctiveness of the college and institution on the whole. I would be giving you some web links, okay, in case you would like to see other colleges. I'm giving you around 11 colleges. So you just click this web link. I'm shared my presentation to the organizing committee, and I'm sure they will share it with you. In case you click any of these links, it will take you to that particular website and it will show you that particular college what they have done in criteria 7. So it will give you a better advantage for you to come up with a better rating, and you could come up with the best NAAC score for your institution. So this is something which I'd like to show with them. So thank you. Over to the organizing team again. In case there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
It was a dynamic talk filled with information and ideas. Thank you, sir, for your motivating talk. And there have been wonderful comments by the participants. Your presentation was very well substantiated by the case study of different colleges in Bangalore, and also some green initiatives which have been taken by your college. Then you have also mentioned the best practices from few colleges like Shred Day, that is indeed an innovative practice. Then Farmers Market on campus by Davidson College. Then Rooftop Gardening of Vidya Mandir School, Chennai. Wonderful ideas you have given to our participants, and some innovative practices beyond the campus which can be started by other institutes also, like seed balls. Then you have also mentioned the cleaning of lake by the students' participation in your presentation. And then the best practices also you have mentioned by or carried by your institute, like communicative English program, keeping in need the needs of the students, because they are obviously weak in English. They are communicating in vernacular language. So that's a very good best practice carried by your college. And then the Seeding Hope Services and Shape, which is a counseling center. I really like the full form of the Shape Sacred Heart accompanying a program education. That's a really innovative idea, I can say. And then the Distinctiveness also you have mentioned, like research forum, grants for faculty, and the fellowship for students also. And you have very rightly pointed out that institution values and best practices indeed make any institute unique. And I'm sure these guidelines will help the participants in critical thinking, and will also give them an idea how they can also work towards these ideas. And sir, can I take up few questions by the participants now?
Yeah, sure. At the meantime, I'm given most of the things for students to ask me questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, in key indicator 7.1.2, our college has solar generation facility connected to the grid, and LED bulbs are also being used. Is energy audit report expected in this metric?
Yeah, sure. In this metric, it's not required, but there's a separate criteria which says that energy audit is required over there. So this report has to be included, and there's a separate upload, additional information will be given. So in case it's required over there, you can give it over there. So not a problem regarding that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, is there any auditing agency specified for this, or like?
Yeah, there are auditing agencies which are available, which you have to spend money from the institution. But here in Sacred College, we are not gone for any auditing institution, whereby there are departments. For example, physics department is there, biotechnology is there, biochemistry, environmental sciences department is there, and they have all these technological savvy instruments which can measure air pollution or could measure energy audit. For example, energy audit, let me tell you one energy audit which we did. In Sacred College, we have something called a blackout hour. So every morning between 6 to 7, 1 hour power conservation is saved. So there's no power during 6 to 7. So we save this power every day for 1 hour, 6 to 7. So in a month, we have saved 30 hours worth of power. And for a year, again, we have saved nearly 365 hours worth of power. Now you convert that into electricity and watts which are being consumed, and that would give you a better picture. So as I said, energy once saved is energy twice generated. Okay, so that could be done.
Yeah, definitely. You are taking all the in-house facilities. That's really commendable. Sir, the other question which I would like to take up is, in key indicators 7.1.6, there is no clear-cut demarcation in green audit, energy audit, and environment audit. Because these are all overlapping terms, like environment audit can include green audit and energy audit as well. So what are your views on this, and what measures can be adopted for all these three audits?
Okay. So good. Okay, so what they are asking is they are given it in different acronyms and in different terms. Okay, environmental audit, green audit, and all that. Okay,
Yeah.
it's how you write it. Okay, it's how you write your report is that matters. Okay, for example, they are given 500 words. Now imagine if your report for 500 words you write 499. NAAC is not interested in knowing 499 words. NAAC will be happy if you're addressing it, hitting the nail on the head. If you're addressing issues right to the point, okay, if you say you're having a green environmental team or audit team, what are the practices that you use? And how have you defined these practices? How have you achieved it? Even though some of these practices are addressed even in other criteria, like criteria 3 or criteria even 7, criteria 6, okay? How this particular criteria stands out? For example, we have, when we went for the NAAC assessment, for each criteria we had a team lead. So they looked into it. And what we found was, in case this particular criteria carries a better weightage of marks, even though the same thing is addressed somewhere else, we would include it here so that we would get a better score. Okay, so even if it is repeated, green audit and environmental audit, even if it is repeated, it depends on how your institution has carried this out.
Sir, this is the last question which I would like to take up. Can you help us understand the difference between institutional distinctiveness and best practices?
Okay. Institutional distinctiveness is something which is coinciding with your vision and mission. What makes your institution distinct? It should be something, one unique selling point. When you talk about marketing, they say USP, unique selling proposition or unique selling portfolio. What makes your organization so unique? Okay, that should be in line with something in line with your vision and mission statement of your organization. Whereas best practices, you need to say what effective measures that your organization has carried out. Okay, so I hope I have able to justify.
Yes, sir. Very well explained, sir. Sir, there is one question by the one more participant. She is Kawaljit Kaur. She wants to would you to share some examples of initiatives taken to engage with and contribute to local community.
Okay, fine. Okay, for example, one practice what we did is there's a nearby market just opposite our college. There's a market over there. Okay, a vegetable market. So what we did, it doesn't matter whether there are NCC, NSS students. Okay, as a Department of Social, what we did is we took our students over there and we helped them in cleaning the market, in maintaining that market. That is one. Another one, I told you, there's a lake cleaning where the entire college participated and we went to the lake and we did lake cleaning. Now, there's another one called Christmas Day celebration where the entire college is divided into various teams and these teams have to go to old age homes or NGOs or people, or blind age homes across various disadvantaged societies. They have to go spend a day there, share their gifts, share their contribution. And by the way, this is by the students, of the students and for the students. The management doesn't do anything, okay? The management just acts as a liaison, that's it. And we go and address these people, especially for Christmas and in case of Pongal, we go spend time with them. And we create a kind of a community building culture, okay? And those are some things that I would like to say.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking up the questions and explaining it very well, and I think to the best of everyone's satisfaction. So now on behalf of the management, principal and IQAC, I express my sincere gratitude to our guest speaker, Dr. Clayton Michael, for thorough analysis of all the 3 key indicators of Criterion 7. Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs. It was an inspiring and insightful presentation, and we are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and experience regarding this criterion. We look forward to implement the suggestions made by you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I thank the principal, Dr. Katie Thomas, the organizing committee, Dr. Advit Bagwe, Father Praveen D'Souza, Dr. Bhushan and Dr. Nikat, along with the corresponding committee, Mr. Dilip Sadagar, for their support, eminence, and dexterity in organizing this 4-day national level workshop. So thank you. God bless you. Have a great day. Thank you.
So this was all for today. There is an announcement by the organizers. The participants should fill up the feedback forms all 5 days separately. And the link of feedback form is given on YouTube and WhatsApp group and also on the Telegram group. Since last 4 days, we had an intellectual feast wherein 8 very renowned guest speakers shared their expertise with us. Tomorrow, for the last and final day of this workshop, there will be 2 very special guests with us for the valedictory function. Dr. M.G. Sethuraman, Professor of Chemistry and Director Research and Development, Gandhigram Rural Institute, Gandhigram, Tamil Nadu, and Dr. Lata Nair, Associate Professor, Department of English, St. Teresa's College, Ernakulam, Kerala. So join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the morning on Microsoft Teams, YouTube, Facebook, and have a nice day.